Today's video is going to be focusing on creation of styles. So what we're going to do from the SpeechCat main menu, this also applies to Digitran, Transcriptionist, Remote Scopist. We go to Edit, Edit Styles. Now the Style Manager, here we go, will list all of the styles that you have created. What we're going to do is simply create a new style. So we're going to click on the New button. And here is our style editor. So let's discuss first the General tab. This is the General tab. On the General tab, the first thing that we do is we select a display set. A display set generally will tell SpeechCat what font you want to be using, whether you want to be using double space or single space, whether you want to use a letter or a legal page, things like that. We're going to go ahead and select Courier New. Okay, let's talk about display sets. From the main menu of your AudioScribe application, click on Edit and click on Edit Display Sets. Resize it here. We're going to click on the New button, and we're going to call this My Display Set. And I'll call this, I'll put my initials. Okay, so let's talk about all of these fields here on the left. These have everything to do with what you're seeing and how you're seeing it. The speakers 1 and 2 only relate to the background color of the speaker fields when you're in real time or scope. And you can change these fields. Just make sure that you don't change them to anything too dark, because you'll want to still be able to see and read your text in your speaker fields. The same thing is true for your untranslate fields. These fields are seen to the right beneath the speaker fields in real time and in scope. And again, you can change the color. Just make sure that you're still going to be able to see the text inside the field. Over here below the untranslates fields, you'll see dictated text, correction, applied, and keyboard. These have everything to do with the color of the text. When you first dictate text, it will be black. Once you begin doing correction and you correct an utterance, that entire utterance is going to turn green. When you actually tell SpeechCat or Remote Scopist to apply those changes and push it through to the engine, that text is then going to turn blue. That means that Dragon or your speech engine has learned from that utterance and the changes you've made to it. The red text is going to be anything that you type in, or a real-time rule. When a real-time rule is used, it'll turn the text red, and that only means that you can't perform correction mechanism on that text. So we ask that you not change these 4 colors, at least until you understand thoroughly what these mean and how they affect your recognition. Conflicts are set to be a teal color. You can certainly change that if you like. You just want to make sure that it will be able to be viewed. So whatever color you want for that is fine, as long as it's a nice visual color, because your conflicts will appear in that color. The dictation cursor is a light blue. We're going to leave that. The current field is light green. We're going to leave that, and we're also going to leave this other field. Let's go over to the right side of the screen. This really is what most people change. The script back and the script for has only to do with using a script, which you only do when you're in captioning or cart. You can change the back of the script, you can change the front of the script, but you always want script 4, because that's the text, to be able to be seen on the script back, which is the background of the script. The next field is our utterance color, and that is orange. And again, we ask that you not change this color until you thoroughly understand what the purpose is of the highlighted utterance. The next field is background, and in the background we can change that to a nice color that's appealing to us. It can be any color that you would like. We suggest that you go with a light color. Remember that your text is going to be all of these colors, and all of these colors need to show up on this background color. The font is the next option, and there are many options for font, but normally in the court reporting industry, Courier New is the standard, and so that's what we're going to leave. You may bold, underline, italics, or choose to all caps the text. I don't do any of that, and so I'm going to leave those blank. I'm going to choose 12 as the size of my font, because that is the industry standard. You can make it 13 as long as you're abiding by your state standard guidelines. You're going to be fine. Line spacing is generally set to double, and that is what I'm setting it to. I'm going to change my top margin to 1.3 and my bottom margin to 1.3, and then I'm going to check get lines per page, and you can see that that will give me 25 lines per page. That's what I want, so I click on OK. In my left margin, I generally like to see that about 1.8, and my right, I also like about to 0.8. The page size in inches is set currently to a letter page. If you want to change it to a legal page, you would simply change the 11 to 14. Real-time margins, if you want to have your real-time margins displayed, you can change it to match your left and right margins. When you're done, simply click on Apply and OK. And you have then made your first display set. I also like to have an easy to read display set, so I'm going to highlight that and open it just to show you that my easy to read display set simply has a larger font size to make it easier for me to see. It's also bolded. That makes it easier for me to see in real time and in scope. We have a feature in the style called the present font, where we can have it automatically go down to the font that it needs to be printed in when you move to the present stage of transcript production. So I just wanted to show you that. That does come in handy. I'll click on Apply and OK. And we close out of the Manage Display Set, and we are returned to the SpeechCat main menu. Courier New. And the next thing that we have to choose is, do we want to use timestamps, and do we want them to be time of day or 24 hours? I like to use timestamps, and I do like the time of day. I also like to see timestamps in real time and scope. I do want my markers to add punctuation. That means that when I say QCO, it is going to put a period at the end of the last answer, and it's going to put my Q in the right format. And then when I say ACO, it's going to put a question at the end, a question mark at the end of the previous question. So, and also the speakers by default put a period at the end of whatever is previous to them. The next option, captioning adds new line after sentence, is obviously only for the captioning tool in SpeechCat, and right now we're speaking more about styles for court reporting, and so we're going to leave that one blank. The next option is really important. The speaker to configuration is all about utilizing a byline, meaning when you are going from a direct examination to a cross-examination and you want it to say cross-examination, new line, by whatever speaker. So I normally want to call my primary speaker configuration colloquy, and so I just write COL, which reminds me that that's colloquy. And my speaker to configuration, I write by, because that is my brief for the byline. The next two options, edit real-time settings for the sender and the receiver, are basically for when you are sending or receiving a real-time feed. The next option, hard disconnect, is only used for captioning, so we're not going to discuss that here. At the top of the second column, Dragon uses feed governor, is yet again another captioning option, so we're going to skip over that, as is capitalize all with exceptions. That means that everything should be capitalized when using this style, as is the truth for captioning. And then the with exceptions means that you can go into this edit exceptions list and say do not capitalize these certain things like .com, .org, .net, things like that. Use the dictation cursor. This is actually for when you create a template that allows you to dictate into fields in the template. We're not going to address that right now. The next option, tilde moves dictation cursor, is also used when you're using the dictation cursor to fill in blank fields. The very last option, open mic, is only for when you are utilizing SpeechCat, Digitran Lite for recording the open microphone. That is not dictating in as a court reporter would dictate. When we're done with that, we can move over to the next tab, which is the Speakers tab. This gives you the opportunity to type in the speakers that you're going to see on a daily basis. What I normally do is just put in the players. That way it reminds you of who is in what field. This will vary depending on what kind of court reporting work you are doing. Now, earlier I was talking to you about the byline. If I want to use a byline, I would have the attorneys in there twice, so that I could assign one the colloquy, the speaker in colloquy, and the other the speaker in a byline. That's all you do on this field. The untranslates is the next tab, and I don't know if there's a need for filling in an untranslate in advance, but if you are working for a specific court, say doing juvenile work or whatever, there might be certain laws that you want to put in the untranslates fields to be used that might be relevant. Remember that each untranslates field allows for 255 characters, including spaces. Let's move on to the speaker formatting tab. Here you get to tell SpeechCat how your speakers should look in real time. So let's say that we want an indent of 1 inch. We want one tab before the speaker. You want, let's say, a colon after the speaker and following symbol following text. And then I think I'd like a new line after. And let's click on apply and see what it looks like. So this is what my choice looks like. Let's say I want to bold the text, click on apply. Okay, and let's say I want to underline the text, click on apply. And let's say that I don't in fact want the new line after, click on apply. So I probably want to use a tab after, so we'll do this and apply, and there we go. So we have a tab after. You might want to do something different like this. You can make any changes that you want. 0.5 means 5 spaces. I don't like the way that looks, so if I do 1, apply, that's how that looks. Let's say that I want an indent of 1.2. Let's see. Instead of using a tab, I might want to use 2 spaces. Let's see, if I do 1 space, then it lines up. I like the look of that. And so once you're pleased with the way it looks, you can click on apply if you would like and move to the speaker 2 configuration. Now this is where we want to have a byline. So I'm going to put by in the symbol before the text. I know I want a colon after the text. I might also want to go ahead and put in my Q after, and let's say that I want, let's see, I need to add a space after the by for it to show up. And I want 2 spaces after. And that'll create my byline. If I want it bolded, I can do that. And I can also, if I'd like to, type in examination by. So it would look like that. Now, if you'd like to, if you want to do the asterisk Q asterisk apply, that should write your question automatically after in proper format. So we're going to just move now to the next tab, which is Q&A formatting. And again, if we'd like to do an indent, we can do that. 0.5 is 5 spaces. 1 inch is 10 spaces. Let's say that I want a tab after, 1 tab after. I do want to use a period after the text. So let's see, currently this is what it's looking like. I think I want to use a hanging indent of 0.5. Click on apply. That's what I like to see. That's my preference. So I'm going to click on apply, and I'm going to move to the custom formatting. Now custom formatting can be anything you want it to be. The whole idea is that you get to write, say, a parenthetical. Let's say a common parenthetical would be off the record. So I type in my parenthetical there, and if I hit apply, I can see that that's the way it's going to look currently. If I always want it to be indented, say by 5 spaces, then I can do 0.5 in the indent, click on apply, and that's what it would look like. You can say new line after, but if you're the next thing that you're gonna say is QCO, then that's going to automatically give you a new line. So you don't want to do a line after, because no matter what follows it, every speaker, every marker will give you a new line. So it would actually create 2 new lines, and that's not what you want. So we can just simply click on apply and OK, and that'll do it for this. If we wanted bolded, we can do bolded. And we can move on to custom formatting 2. For this one, perhaps what I want is resuming. And I want that to be bolded, and I want it to be indented by 5 spaces. So I'm going to put 0.5 in the inches, because that equals 5 spaces. And click on apply and see what it's looking like. I like that. So I can move on to custom 3. Now for custom 3, let's say that I want to say open parentheses, whereupon counsel handed the exhibit to the witness. And I want that indented as well by 0.5 inches. Apply, and that's the way it's going to look. If I want to bold it, I can do that. And there we have it. And so if you want, you can even put in the symbol before the text as the parentheses here, and not include the parentheses here or at the end. I can do symbol following the text as a closed paren. It still creates the exact same thing, so that's not a problem. It does, however, look like it's not bolding my last paren, so I think I'm going to go ahead and leave my parens in the custom text field. There we go. You can apply and OK. So we're going to apply it. I apologize, don't hit OK because it'll close you out. And then let's go to the replacement fields. Okay, here in the replacement fields, we create a field for everything on our cover page that we want to have replaced by the finalized feature in scope. Now, in order to actually create the replacement fields, we need to open up a file with our transcript. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and just type in my style. And we're going to move this to the side so that we can open up a document that contains our cover page. I'm going to click on Add, and I'm going to type in a replacement field. So my first replacement field will be court. I hit Enter, and that adds it, as you can see in the replacement fields right here. Okay, the next one is going to be parish. For most states, this is actually county, so I'm going to go ahead and add a parish/county field. The state. The next is the plaintiff. the number, basically case number, defendant, the section, the type of proceeding, and the judge, the day, the month, the year. Let's scroll down here on the left. And if you ever do work for other court reporters, then you'll need a court reporter field to fill out. You might even need court reporter certification. And we'll scroll down. That goes into the index. And the proceedings, we're going to go to the very end. And here is the reporter's page, and the only thing that changes here is the name of the reporter, possibly. And then we have the reporter's page, and again, it's only the court reporter's name that changes. Now, in a lot of transcripts, the start time is relevant, as is the end time. Also, a certification date. Okay, so I'm going to click on close, and here are all my replacement fields, and I'm going to click on apply, and then I'm going to click on the layouts and includes tab, and here is where I actually have to create or select a cover page and a certificate page. So I can click on browse, and I can look for something that's already been created. There are basics that are in SpeechCat automatically for you, so you can always look at, you can choose basic covers if you'd like, and then you can browse and choose a basic certificate as well. And then for the layout, you can browse and select one of the standard layouts that we have. I like a box, so I'm going to choose the box layout with 3 section breaks. And now that you've selected them, you can click on open to see what they look like. And so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so you can see it. This basic cover page looks like this. Now if I wanted to go back to my cover page here and make this look exactly like the other one, then I would type in court, and in order to bring in the cover page replacement field for court, I would go to insert case fields, click on court. Always want to make sure that there is a space between that. Okay, so the next field would be parish of, and I could go to insert case fields, parish county, and the next thing is state of, and I can insert my state field. And then here I want to make sure that my plaintiff's field matches. And then it looks like the number is over here, so insert case field's number. And I want this to say versus and this will be insert case fields my defendant. And it looks like we need a section field as well. Okay, and then here in the center is where we want our type of proceeding. Got the blurb of what we want to say here beneath the type of proceeding. We want to put the judge's name here. Insert case field judge, and we're going to change this to the day, the month will be replaced here, and the year here. Now the appearances are almost always indented, so I'm going to indent. You can change your indent amounts by clicking here and setting them. They are in inches. 1 equals to 10 spaces, 0.5 equals to 5 spaces, 1.5 equals to 15 spaces. So I'm going to click on OK here. I'm going to go insert speaker fields, and since the DA or the plaintiff attorney is speaker 2, I'm going to go down to speaker 2 info and click here. I'm going to place my cursor here. Again, I am going to indent. I'm going to go to insert speaker field, scroll down to speaker 3 info there. I've set the video technician as speaker 10. And let's see what else we have here. Okay, we have reported by. So I'm going to do no indent, to come over here and type in reported by, colon, enter. I'm going to indent and insert case fields. That's the court reporter and the court reporter's certifications. And if I want this to not be double spaced but be single spaced, I could highlight it and go to edit, single space. There you go. So now my cover page is ready to be filled in. And let's see if there's anything else here. It looks like there is an index. So I'm going to go over here and see what the index looks like on this. There's an exhibit index and a witness index. Okay, so here's witness. And our witness, I believe, is speaker 4. Let's see, the court, the plaintiff, the defense. Yes, the witness is speaker 4. So I'm going to go insert case, speaker fields, speaker 4. And I'm going going to change the examination by to the first speaker, which will be speaker number 2. And then the second speaker will be insert speaker fields, speaker 3 short. Okay, I'm going to take out the numbers because those are going to change. It looks like that's not used. That's not used. We'll put pages over here, a little more to the right. I'm going to copy this. If you want to center, you should use tabs because center is not going to stay centered if you create a PRN or an ASCII. And it looks like this should say state witness. And I'm going to highlight all of this and paste it and say this is my defense witness. And that might be another speaker, like there might be a totally different witness, and we'll assign that witness to speaker field 5. And this might be reversed, 3 and then 2. Okay, and then we have our exhibit index. Okay, and the way that looks is state. Okay, so in the index, what we're doing is we are creating the index to primarily look like what it's got to be. State witnesses and then defense witnesses. And what we're going to do actually is we're going to insert lists that we are going to create in the scope phase. And what we do in the actual cover page is, for instance, to get this index list marker, we go to insert index list and then the number we want there. This is going to bring in all of the indexes that we create in the scope phase. And anything that will be added to list number 1 will be dropped in here along with its page number, index 2 with its page number, index 3 with its page numbers, and index 4 with its page numbers. You can highlight and bold whatever you want if you want it to stand out. And then we're going to move on to the exhibits, which you can see I've already inserted index number 5 and index number 6 for the exhibits for the state and the exhibits for the defense. And then notice that I have a section break here after the exhibits. I also have a section break at the end of the first page. When we're using Microsoft Word as our word processing system, we insert section breaks in the cover pages, and we insert section breaks in the layout document, which is kind of like a template, so that they match up, so that we can tell Microsoft Word how we want that particular section of the transcript to behave. So the last thing that I've done is put the word proceedings up here where the proceedings is going to begin, and I bolded it, and if you like you can underline it as well. And when you're done, you click on the green save and you're good to go. You can close out. Now we're going to open up the certificate and minimize, make that small so that we can see the certificate on our sample. And here what we see is a section break right at the top. We have the end time, and then we have the section break right before the reporter certificate. And this is a little bit different of a certificate, but I like this one a little better. So I'm just going to go in and make sure that the fields match. So here, this has to be court reporter. So I'm going to go insert case fields, court reporter. And then here, it's supposed to be the state, insert case fields, state. Insert case fields, parish, county. And then here we have reporter, but I think I called it court reporter. And we're going to put the certifications of the reporter here. And we're going to remove firm. And then we will move on to the witness certificate. This has to be the witness, insert case fields. And we don't have a witness, so this brings up a really good point. What do we do when we need a field that we do not have? We can go and add it. So I'm going to do save, and I'm going to close. That is going to return me to the style editor. I'm going to name my style, my style, oops, my court style. Okay, now I'm going to go back to replacement fields, and I am going to click on add, and I'm going to add a field for witness. Witness number 2, witness number 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And in order to make those available when we go to layout and includes, we have to click on apply. Let's go back to layout and includes. We're going to open up the certificate, and we need to go to the witness certificate. Oh, here's certification date. I think I have a new one there, so go to insert case fields, certification date. This needs to be the witness's name, insert case fields, witness. This needs to be witness. And we want this to be single spaced, so edit, single space. this is the errata. So this needs to be the witness. So I'm just replacing any field that may not look exactly identical, because if you don't do that, then the fields will not be filled in. Insert case fields, court. I don't think I have a division. And this will be the number. Okay, so this is done, so I'm going to save and I'm going to close. And that brings us right back to the layout and include section. And now we're going to go to indexes, and this is where you simply just say what your index is covering. And so I believe we had a witness for the state was the first thing, then defendant, Okay, and attachments, this is only for if we want to bring in something that we want to go with this style when we share it with other people. The present phase, the present tab is where we tell SpeechCat what we want to go to in terms of the word processor. My preference is MS Word, so I'm going to leave that. I am going to tell it to use present font of Courier 12 in double space. So I'll apply that. Additional formatting is not necessary, nor is video capture, so I'm going to click on apply and OK, and we have actually completed the style.